Canterbury, Māori, Waitaha, is a region of New Zealand, located in the Central East and South Island. The region covers an area of 44,508 square kilometres, 17,185 square miles, and is home to a population of 600,100. June 2016. The region in its current form was established in 1989 during nationwide local government reforms. The Kaikoura District joined the region in 1992 following the abolition of the Nelson-Marlborough Regional Council. Christchurch, the South Island's largest city and the country's third largest urban area, is the seat of the region and home to 65% of the region's population. Other major towns and cities include Timaru, Ashburton, Rangiora and Rolleston. History. Colonization. In 1848, Edward Gibbon Wakefield, a Briton, and John Robert Godley, an Anglo-Irish aristocrat, founded the Canterbury Association to establish an Anglican colony in the South Island. The colony was based upon theories developed by Wakefield while in prison for eloping with a woman not of age, due to ties to the prestigious Oxford University. The Canterbury Association succeeded in raising sufficient funds and recruiting middle-class and upper-class settlers. In April 1850, a preliminary group led by Godley landed at Port Cooper, modern-day Littleton Harbour, and established a port, housing and shops in preparation for the main body of settlers. In December 1850, the first wave of 750 settlers arrived at Littleton in a fleet of 4 ships. Following 1850, the province's economy developed with the introduction of sheep farming. The Canterbury region's tussock plains in particular were suitable for extensive sheep farming, since they were highly valued by settlers for their meat and wool. There were over 500,000 sheep in the region by the early 1850s. By the 1860s, this figure had risen to 3 million. During this period, the architect Benjamin Mountfort designed many civic and ecclesiastical buildings in the Gothic Revival style. Canterbury Province. The Canterbury Province was formed in 1853 following the passing of the New Zealand Constitution Act 1852. It was formed from part of New Munster Province and covered the middle part of the South Island, stretching from the east coast to the west coast. The province was abolished, along with other provinces of New Zealand, when the Abolition of the Provinces Act came into force on 1 November 1876. The modern Canterbury region has slightly different boundaries, particularly in the north, where it includes some districts from the old Nelson province. Geography. The area administered by the Canterbury Regional Council consists of all the river catchments on the east coast of the South Island, from that of the Clarence River, north of Kaikoura, to that of the Waitaha River, in South Canterbury. It is New Zealand's largest region by area, with an area of 45,346 square kilometres. Canterbury was traditionally bounded in the north by the Conway River, to the west by the Southern Alps, and to the south by the Waitaha River. The area is commonly divided into North Canterbury, north of the Rakaia River to the Conway River, Mid Canterbury, from the Rakaia River to the Rangitata River, South Canterbury, south of the Rangitata River to the Waitaha River, and Christchurch City. Demographics. Canterbury is home to 600,100 people according to Statistics New Zealand's June 2016. 13% of New Zealand's population. It the most populous in the South Island and the second most populous region in New Zealand, after Auckland. The median age of Canterbury's population is 39.9 years, 2 years above the New Zealand median. Around 15.5% of the population is aged 65 or over, while 18.7% is aged under 15. There are 97.5 males for every 100 females in Canterbury. Urban areas. culture and identity. At the 2013 census of population and dwellings, 86.9% of Cantabrians identified as of European ethnicity, 8.1% as Maori, 6.9% as Asian, 2.5% as Pacific peoples, 0.8% as Middle Eastern, Latin American, African, and 2.0% as another ethnicity, mainly New Zealander. Just under 20% of Canterbury's population was born overseas, compared to 25% for New Zealand as a whole. The British Isles remains the largest region of origin, accounting for 36.5% of the overseas-born population in Canterbury. Around a quarter of Canterbury's overseas-born population at the 2013 census had been living in New Zealand for less than 5 years, and 11% had been living in New Zealand for less than 2 years, i.e., they moved to New Zealand after the 2011 Christchurch earthquake. Around 49.7% of Cantabrians affiliate with Christianity and 3.3% affiliate with non-Christian religions, while 44.5% are irreligious. Anglicanism is the largest Christian denomination in Canterbury with 14.8% affiliating, while Catholicism is the second largest with 12.7% affiliating. Economy. The Canterbury region's economy is diversified into agriculture, industry, fishing, forestry, tourism and energy resources such as coal and hydroelectricity. Its agriculture sector is also diversified into dairy farming, sheep farming and horticulture, particularly viticulture. The strength of the region's agricultural economy is displayed every November at the Canterbury A&P Show. The show coincides with the regional anniversary day and Cup Week. During the interwar period, agricultural productivity was boosted by the introduction of mechanization, lime and the improvement of seed stocks. Canterbury is also New Zealand's main producer of cereal crops such as wheat, barley and oats. As of 2002, the region produced 60.7% of the nation's supply of wheat, 51.1% of its barley stocks and 43.7% of its supply of oats. The region's viticulture industry was established by French settlers in Akaroa. Since then, wine growing is concentrated into two regions, Waitaha and Burnham. Recently there have been vintages from plantings from Curragh further to the south. White wine has typically predominated in Canterbury from Riesling, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Gewürztraminer, and to a lesser extent Pinot Blanc and Pinot Gris. Pinot Noir has had some success in the province, particularly in Waipara. The manufacturing industry is the second largest contributor to the Canterbury economy. With so many agricultural businesses, there is especially room for development and innovation in products for this sector, as well as construction and engineering as a result of the 2011 Christchurch earthquake. 2,000 local manufacturing companies employ 23,000 workers, contributing an estimated $2.2 billion New Zealand dollars to the national GDP. The subnational GDP of the Canterbury region was estimated at $15.074 billion in 2003, 12% of New Zealand's national GDP. Environment. Like much of the Canterbury Otago-Tussock grasslands, the Canterbury Plains have been highly modified since human settlement and now support a large agricultural industry. Prior to the arrival of Maori settlers in the 13th century, much of the modern Canterbury region was covered in scrub and beech forests. Forest fires destroyed much of the original forest cover, which was succeeded by tussock grassland. By the 19th century, only 10% of this forest cover remained, and the European settlers introduced several new exotic grass, lupin, pine and macrocarpa that gradually supplanted the native vegetation. Much of the native vegetation was isolated to the alpine zones and Banks Peninsula. Recently, the amount of forest on Banks Peninsula has increased from a minimum of about 1% of its original forest cover. The amount of dairy farming is increasing with a corresponding increase in demand for water. Water use is now becoming a contentious issue in Canterbury. Lowland rivers and streams are generally polluted and some of the aquifers are being overdrawn. The Central Plains Water Scheme is a proposal for water storage that has attracted much controversy. The Canterbury Water Management Strategy is one of the many means being used to address the water issue. The Canterbury mudfish, kowaro, is an endangered species that is monitored by the Department of Conservation, Politics and Government. Local government. The Canterbury region is administered by the Canterbury Regional Council. The area includes 10 territorial authorities, including Christchurch City Council and part of the Waitaha District, the other part of which is in Otago. Following the local government reform of 1989, Kaikoura District was part of the Nelson-Marlborough region. That region was later abolished and replaced with 3 unitary authorities. Kaikoura was too small to function as an independent unitary authority and was moved under the jurisdiction of the Canterbury Regional Council in 1992. However, Kaikoura remains part of Marlborough in the minds of many people. In 2006, the Banks Peninsula District was merged into Christchurch City following a 2005 referendum. Parliamentary representation. The Canterbury region is covered by 11 parliamentary electorates which consists of 10 general electorates and 1 Maori electorate. The city of Christchurch as a whole consists of 5 of these electorates, while the electorate of Waimakariri contains a mix of Christchurch and ex-urban Canterbury. The Port Hills and Wigram electorates are currently held by Labour Party members Ruth Dyson and Megan Woods respectively. Christchurch East is held by Poto Williams. Meanwhile, Christchurch Central, Ilam and Waimakariri are currently held by the governing National Party's Nicky Wagner, Jerry Brownlee and Kate Wilkinson, respectively. In contrast to Christchurch, much of the surrounding Canterbury region is dominated by the National Party due to its ties to rural farming and business interests. Under the Maori seats system, Canterbury is part of the large Te Tai Tonga election which covers the entire South Island, the surrounding islands and most of Wellington in the North Island. It is currently held by Labour Party MP Rhino Tarikatine. Following the 2006 census, several boundary changes were implemented in the Canterbury region. Rakaia and Aoraki were renamed Selwyn and Rangitata respectively, while the Banks Peninsula was reconstituted as the Port Hills. The large Kaikoura electorate covers all of the Marlborough region and is represented by National MP Colin King. The substantial Waitaki electorate covers most of South Canterbury and neighbouring North Otago. Rangitata and Selwyn are held by National MPs Joe Goodhue and Amy Adams, while Waitaki is represented by Jackie Dean, who also represents much of the Otago region with the exception of the Dunedin North and Dunedin South electorates. Astark electorates, of which the boundaries extend beyond Canterbury. Transport. State Highway 1 runs the length of Canterbury, connecting north to Blenheim and the Cook Strait Ferry Terminal at Picton and south to Oamaru, Dunedin and Invercargill. Christchurch International Airport, located in Harewood on the northwestern outskirts of Christchurch, is the region's main airport. Regular flights operate from Christchurch to most major centres in New Zealand, as well as Australia, the Pacific Islands and Eastern Asia. Timaru's Richard Pearse Airport serves South Canterbury with daily flights to Wellington. Education. Canterbury is served by 292 primary and secondary schools educating around 94,000 students from ages 5 to 18. Around 13% of students attend state-integrated schools and 5% attend private schools. with the remaining 82% attending state schools. Both Christchurch and Timaru have single-sex state secondary schools. Rolleston is currently the largest town in New Zealand without a secondary school. Its first, Rolleston College, is due to open in January 2017. Canterbury has two universities. The University of Canterbury, located in Western Christchurch, and Lincoln University, located in Lincoln. Sport. The region is home to the Crusaders, who play in the Super Rugby competition. The Crusaders also represent other provinces in the Upper South Island, but are based in Christchurch. They were formerly known as the Canterbury Crusaders. In provincial rugby, Canterbury is represented by three unions: Canterbury, Mid-Canterbury and South Canterbury. For historical reasons, players from Kaikoura District still play for the Marlborough Rugby Union, which is a part of the Tasman provincial team. Nelson-Marlborough Unions combined. The Canterbury Wizards are Canterbury's cricket team in New Zealand's state championship. Other sporting teams include the Canterbury Tactics, netball, and Canterbury United, football. Film location. Canterbury was the location used in the filming The Lord of the Rings for the fictional city of Edoras, Rowan, on Mount Sunday, as well as Helm's Deep backdrop, several miles down the valley. See also 2010 Canterbury earthquake, February 2011 Christchurch earthquake, June 2011 Christchurch earthquake. Water pollution in Canterbury, New Zealand. Environment. Canterbury, Canterbury Regional Council, Canterbury Biodiversity, Environment. Canterbury.